100 area doctors call on school districts to reverse their position and issue universal masking rules. Plus, U.S. health officials announced plans to deliver COVID-19 booster shots to all Americans.
Local veterans involved with the nonprofit Charlie 22 Outdoors share their thoughts with what's going on in Afghanistan and their advice for any veteran who is struggling with the Taliban takeover of Afghanistan. Details are coming up.
The 4 states' most watched news starts now.
More than 100 area physicians signed a letter addressed to local school districts imploring the districts to adopt universal masking. This is KOAM News at 10. Doctors from Mercy, Freeman, and even those not affiliated with either hospital signed the letter. The letter was addressed to 12 districts in our area, pushing for 11 of those districts to adopt universal masking. The 12th, the Joplin area Catholic schools, already has a mandatory universal mask policy in place.
We thank the school boards for trying to protect our kids, and we hope that they're willing to work with our group of physicians to try to set the best policies forward so that our area can be safe and continue in-person learning, which we feel is the most important thing for our kids to achieve here over the next year.
Now, universal masking would be a mask mandate that would apply to all situations all day, with certain exceptions like lunchtime and, of course, exceptions for those with medical conditions. Several of the school districts addressed in that letter say they'll move forward as planned. But many of them, like Neosho, say they did consult with their local health department when creating their plans. They also plan to adjust their procedures as needed throughout the year to keep students, staff, and the community safe. The Neosho superintendent says even though masks are voluntary, the district is doing a lot to keep students safe.
We did not make any hard and fast, this is what we're going to do for the whole semester, this is what we're going to do for the year. It's also the reason why we have some automatic shutdown or changes in place. I mean, if we see significant outbreak, our first level, our second level to go to is level yellow, and that would be the mask mandate.
East Newton School District has a board meeting tomorrow night where they plan to vote on their return to school plan. The letter will be part of that discussion. And the Galena, Kansas superintendent says today was their 5th day of school and there has been no evidence of COVID transmission in the schools so far. Now, today's KOAM News Now Instapoll question, we're asking, should schools implement a universal masking policy? You can participate in the poll at koamnewsnow.com/vote or through the KOAM News Now mobile app. Results are updated live, and we're going to check in on the final numbers here in just a bit. Another round of shots. That's what White House officials now say is needed to adequately protect fully vaccinated Americans who receive the Pfizer or Moderna vaccine. For the first time, sharing new data suggesting vaccine protection against symptomatic infection may wane over time. Officials say they're preparing to offer booster doses late next month. But as Kamala Bernal explains, in some areas, tensions remain high over shots and masks.
It's official. The U.S. is preparing to offer a third mRNA COVID-19 shot about 8 months after the second dose.
It is now our clinical judgment that the time to lay out a plan for COVID-19 boosters is now.
The Moderna and Pfizer booster shots will be offered starting September 20th, pending FDA and CDC evaluation and authorization. Data show these vaccines are highly effective in protecting against COVID-19 hospitalization and death. But 3 recent studies found waning vaccine protection over time against symptomatic infection.
Our plan is to protect the American people and to stay ahead of this virus.
Meanwhile, COVID-19 cases and hospitalizations are increasing, and that includes children under 12 who are not yet eligible for the vaccine. Health experts recommend universal masking in schools to protect young children, but some governors have attempted to ban such requirements.
You have 2 weapons here. One is vaccines, the other is masking, and for children less than 12, that's the only weapon they have.
Despite the science, not all are willing to get the first, second, or third shot, or even ask their children to wear a mask. keeping tensions high in schools around the country.
You don't have to sit here and make people do something they don't want to do.
I'm Camila Burnell reporting.
Nick Kelly, once again, part of the area got some rain today.
And for those that did doubt, they saw quite a bit of it before they fizzled apart over the course of the evening. Looking outside for 7th and Rangeline, it certainly looks nice, but the numbers are actually quite impressive. 67 this morning, 88 this afternoon, but with the few good downpours, the airport picked up at least an inch of rain for today, and that's on the extreme end of what some areas got with these scattered showers and storms once again. Not seeing anything out there right now on the radar network. It's a nice change of pace after we had the afternoon scattering of storms and these to start the evening out. That being said, our main upper level low still close by. So what does that mean for the forecast? It means that we are going to eventually drop out of the mid to upper 70s right now. In fact, during the overnight, we will see lows drop back to 71. Not going to rule out maybe a stray shower or storm or two for a few spots to start the morning out. But like this throughout this week so far, we'll have another afternoon scattering of storms as highs top out around 88. Some rain chances this weekend out, but we'll see if that's enough to hold back the returning summer heat in a bit.
See you then. Wind-driven wildfires raged through drought-stricken forests in the mountains of Northern California after incinerating hundreds of homes and forcing thousands of people to flee to safety. The newest inferno, the Caldor fire, continued to grow explosively in the Sierra Nevada southwest of Lake Tahoe, more than tripling in size in a single day to more than 50,000 acres. T-Mobile confirms it was the target of hackers in a massive data breach that affects more than 40 million people. The cell phone carrier says current and past customers' personal information, including social security numbers and driver's license information and birthdays, has been leaked to hackers. They're urging all T-Mobile postpaid customers to change their PINs, protecting their accounts as a precaution. T-Mobile says it's investigating. Still ahead, as the situation in Afghanistan continues to deteriorate, we'll hear from a local soldier who fought there. Ex-Afghan President Ashraf Ghani, who fled Afghanistan prior to the fall of Kabul, is in the United Arab Emirates with his family. News about his current location comes as thousands of his countrymen and U.S. citizens are also trying to flee Afghanistan. Natalie Brand has more details from the White House.
This video shows the chaos and crowds outside the airport in Kabul as thousands are trying to flee the country.
We've dispatched small military teams to 2 of the airport's gates to assist the State Department consular efforts as they evaluate and process individuals seeking entry.
Military leaders briefed President Biden at the White House about conditions on the ground.
Currently, the security situation at the airport is stable. However, there are threats, and we're closely monitoring those. At any moment, they could happen.
President Biden defended the American withdrawal during an interview with ABC News.
The idea that somehow there's a way to have gotten out without chaos ensuing, I don't know how that happens. I don't know how that happened.
The State Department says it will double the number of consular officers to process visa applications for people trying to flee the Taliban's rule.
We will stand with those who have stood with us.
There are reports that the Taliban has set up checkpoints, making it difficult for people trying to get to the airport.
Are engaging directly with the Taliban to make clear that we expect them to allow all American citizens, all third country nationals, and all Afghans who wish to leave to do so safely and without harassment.
The U.S. military says it will not be sending forces into the city to help people get to the airport. Natalie Brand, CBS News, the White House.
CBS News has confirmed the U.S. is freezing nearly $10 billion in assets that the Afghan government held in U.S. banks, so the Taliban does not have access to that money. Veterans organizations across the country are especially concerned about the mental well-being of their Afghanistan veterans following the collapse of that country's government. KOAM's Mike Mahoney spoke with an Afghanistan veteran and Vietnam veteran involved with Web City nonprofit Charlie 22 Outdoors to learn what they think and their advice for fellow vets.
Local Afghanistan veteran Stuart Tyree is making progress dealing with PTSD, but he doesn't hide his frustration when it comes to the Taliban takeover of Afghanistan.
Honestly, it's more of a slap in the face than anything. you've got a lot of soldiers that lost their lives, veterans of all branches that lost their lives for a purpose, and keeping weaponry and any sort of item that could be used against us out of the Taliban's hands was our main mission.
Fortunately for Stewart and many other local veterans, they've got a support group to lean on in the form of Webb City-based nonprofit Charlie 22 Outdoors. The group typically organizes outdoor activities for U.S. veterans, but their mission doesn't stop there.
Today we had veterans together just to talk about what's happening, what their service was like, and they came together today just for camaraderie and fellowship and to encourage each other. Very important to fight what they're facing mentally and emotionally.
The heroes involved with Charlie 22 Outdoors know that watching a country fall after 20 years of U.S. military involvement can be mentally scarring, which is why they are encouraging any veteran who wants to talk about it to do just that.
There are veterans everywhere, and we are the only ones that can know exactly what you're going through. Just reaching out to another veteran makes a world of difference.
It's like I told my nephew when he had to go. He says it's a different kind of war, and I'm like, war's war. Somebody is out to get you, and somebody needs to watch your back. I don't care if it's young or old, what war it is. We have a camaraderie and coming together and being able to help each other because we've been through it.
When the demons come and the issues come, don't think you're alone. You're not alone, and just reach out. And we believe it's a sign of strength when you reach out for help.
In Jasper County, Mike Mahoney, KOAM News.
If you're a veteran who'd like to learn more about Charlie 22 Outdoors or other support groups for veterans, check out the links in this story on KOAMnewsnow.com. Later, the Fort Scott Tigers will field a young team this year, but they think they have the talent to continue last year's success into the new season. We're going to hear from the team in sports.
But first, I'm tracking additional rain chances and unfortunately a return of the pure summer heat. We'll get to the forecast next. Another day, another go of Mother Nature giving us some scattered rain and storms. Some of you were hard pressed to see a drop of rain for today, but others, like Indigo Sky Casino and Resort outside of Seneca, Missouri, we did actually see at least a couple of showers, if not a couple of thunderstorms, work over the time lapse, but we were quiet to start the day. Then as we got into the afternoon, that's when we saw at least a couple showers and storms work over the casino grounds. But other areas did manage to get in on some of the scattered storms after a quiet start this morning. So in terms of just today alone, we averaged out to about 1/10 of an inch. Again, you see a lot of green on the map where some of us were hard pressed to find any rain, but where the rain really came on down, Joplin, for example, we're seeing amounts vary between 1/2 inch to almost 2 inches of rain alone for today. So it was amazing to see what these, or how efficient rather, these scattered storms were in terms of rainfall making abilities. But after we had some scattered rain and storms to start the evening out, those have fizzled away. So we're looking okay on the radar at 10:18 on this Wednesday night. Outside, Joplin's looking quiet, 76 degrees though, still a bit warm outside, and those dew points in the lower 70s, that gives you a good idea of where everyone's going to eventually bottom out as we go through the rest of the night. Some of us are already there actually, 71 at Stockton Lake, 72 in Greenfield. Most of us are trying to hold on to the mid-70s though, but again, well, I'll drop back to 71 later on tonight while we have some passing clouds still around and maybe a random shower or two that may try to materialize by early tomorrow morning. At the surface, it doesn't look like a lot, but one feature I am pointing out, this front to the north, that will still play a role in the forecast as we go into the weekend, but so will the upper levels. For the short term, it's this upper low that's going to keep some cloud cover around and could fire off a few more showers overnight before we see this high. Hard to believe it's in the southeast, but this is the start of the upper level ridge that will build in and really make its presence known as we go into early next week, especially. Through the overnight, again, looking quiet until we head close to the morning drive. Maybe a couple showers or storms for a few of you, but most of you will be dry. And then it's like the past week so far. Once we go deep into the afternoon, we warm up, tap into the humidity. That's what we'll see. Another scattering of thunderstorms once again, with any of the strongest storms being efficient, if not heavy rainmakers. 71 in the morning, 84 by noon. Afternoon highs right around 88. Fast forward into Friday morning, we'll have maybe a couple storms to start the morning out, then another scattering of storms during the late morning and into the afternoon. Still doesn't change the fact that we'll see temperatures start to warm back up near 90 degrees, but at least we'll take these rain chances while they're here. Some of you, again, next few days might be hard pressed to pick up a drop, but some of us could range from 0.2 of an inch to over an inch just within the next 2 days alone. Back to the long-range forecast here. The frontal boundary sits just to the north for Saturday and Sunday, giving us maybe some morning rain chances, but it is all about this upper-level ridge. That will certainly keep us hot with lower 90s just for the weekend, and we will really crank the heat into gear as we go into early next week. 88 tomorrow, 90 on Friday, lower 90s for Saturday and Sunday, pushing mid-90s Monday through Wednesday of next week, down with some warm and muggy nights with lows in the mid-70s by then.
And those who didn't get rain yesterday or today have some more chances in the coming days.
Yeah, we're not done just yet.
Thanks, Nick. Katy Days in Parsons, Kansas is canceled. The event organizers cite the spread of the Delta variant as the reason behind the cancellation. In a statement, organizers say they had hoped to be back this year, but instead they'll be back in, quote, full force in May of 2022. The Lions Club Ernst Fest will go on as scheduled. The festival is in its 47th year and it celebrates the German heritage of the town of Freistadt, Missouri. It features a beer garden, polka, and bratwurst.
I think it's just getting together, the socialization, and, some people like all the varieties of beer we have, so we have a beer garden.
Ernst Fest kicks off at 4 p.m. on Saturday. Students and businesses connected today on Missouri Southern's campus. It was the annual Community Day. 140 businesses showed up to talk to students about what they offer and job opportunities. MSSU has hosted Community Days for the past 15 years. Coming up in sports, the Carl Junction Bulldogs are just 9 days away from opening the football season. Plus, the Fort Scott Tigers aim for back-to-back league titles this fall. Jacob Leonard joins us with that up next.
The Fort Scott Tigers are in the middle of their first week of fall football practice. Now, the Tigers had a big bounce-back year in 2020. Our own Danny Terzer has more on how the Tigers plan to reload and do it all again this fall.
The Tigers went from a one-win team in 2019 to SEK champs in 2020. They aim to stay at the top.
We're just trying to establish having a good program with consistency. Guys showing up, guys working hard, and when you do those things and have a little luck on the way, you end up having a consistent program that gets to a winning situation.
It took a special senior class to help turn the program around.
Those guys never complained. We were hard on them. We conditioned hard. We hit hard in practice. We played physical. Those guys bought into that, and that's why they were able to be successful.
Some good talent graduated, but the Tigers' hunger remains.
They know what we expect as a staff, and they're just trying to keep it rolling.
We did pretty good last year, made it to the second round of the playoffs, and this year we expect to go back.
Dominic Bishop is a guy who's played a lot for us. Caden Connor's a junior lineman who's been a 3-year starter now. Isaiah Heggie starts on the line, and those are just some of the guys we're looking to for leadership this year.
The Tigers' success will start with the linemen.
I believe we got 3 or 4 starters back on offense, guys who have played, been in the battle, physical, older guys, so they will set the tone for us.
I think we're pretty good, hard workers. I think we'll, even if we have downs, I think we'll still stay up.
We just want to be a physical, hard-nosed team. It's no secret. People know we're going to line up and run the football. We're going to throw play action off of it, and we want to be able to stop the run on defense.
In Fort Scott, Danny Terzer, KOAM Sports.
Fort Scott's first game of the season will be on September 3rd on the road against Summit Christian. On the Missouri side, the Carl Junction Bulldogs are just 9 days away from their season opener. CJ hosts Willard next Friday in the first game of the year. Now, the Bulldogs have a lot of new faces at a lot of new positions this season, including at quarterback. The team graduated one of the best in the area in Alex Baker. Baker threw for 2,900 yards and 29 touchdowns last year. This year, CJ will be rolling with this dude, senior Kyler Perry, under center.
I think it'll be a totally different style of offense. Kyler really offers a lot of things. He can run, he can throw, he can do everything. He's a smart guy.
Kyler is a dual threat quarterback. He has a tremendous arm. He has a big time arm, and he's also capable of running the football. And we just got to kind of rein him in every once in a while, and and we don't want to get too much street ball stuff going on out there. But Kyler's a gamer, and I expect him to play well, and I expect him to make plays.
We're back with more news after this.
Take time now to honor a local veteran, Petty Officer 3rd Class John Maples. The Alba, Missouri native served in the U.S. Navy, and we are proud to salute Petty Officer 3rd Class John Maples. He's tonight's 4-state hero. All right, let's check in on the final numbers for our KOAM News Now Insta poll. We've been asking, should schools implement a universal masking policy? The overwhelming majority, nearly 7 in 10, 69% say yes, they should. This poll is now closed. Thank you for participating. Scientists at the University of Wisconsin-Madison have turned the daddy long legs into a daddy short legs. They did it by altering the arachnid's genes. Yeah, essentially the researchers turned off 2 genes linked to leg development. It resulted in 6 of the 8 legs growing to roughly half their normal size. One of the goals of the project was to discover how the thing developed such long legs. The study on the experiment was published in the latest issue of the journal Proceedings of the Royal Society B. It's a little bit creepy. It's still creepy? Yeah, still creepy. I would say maybe more creepy. Just because of it's being altered, it seems a little Frankenstein-like. I don't know. But, you know, I'm sure it's leading to potentially medical advances someday that would apply to humans. The weather, more rain chances ahead.
Yeah, it's going to try to keep us in the upper 80s again tomorrow. So we'll go 88 degrees, but as soon as we hit the weekend, the lower 90s return, mid-90s by next week.
Final sports notes.
The Royals beat the Astros tonight 3-2. That's now 3 straight wins for Kansas City against the first-place Astros. They'll go for the sweep tomorrow afternoon.
Royals are either red hot or ice cold,
Right.
it seems this year, mostly cold. Thanks for joining us. Don't forget our morning show, and let's make it a great tomorrow.